Earth, the only known planet in our solar system to contain life and home to the most intelligent beings in our known universe, humans. But while we might be the smartest beings among our Earthbound companions, that doesn't mean some of us aren't flat out stupid. And speaking of flat, there are those out there who believe the Earth that we inhabit is in fact a flat surface instead of round. Better yet, some believe that the Earth is hollow and that if you drilled your way into its core, you would find a vast open space, unoccupied by dirt or gravel like we've been led to believe. But why would these people reject the ideals that we've learned since our tiny minds could first retain knowledge? Why do some insist that the Earth is flat and others that it is hollow? Where do these theories come from? And why should we, the smartest beings on our planet, give these theories the time of day? Well, hunker down, pour yourself a glass, and join us as we dissect two of the world's most outlandish, and at times, foolish theories in today's conspiracy-filled episode of Tipplers 2 Cents. The only thing flat and hollow are the skulls of the people who believe this crap. Oops. Spoiler alert. Back, all you drinkers and thinkers, and thank you for joining us for today's episode of Tipplers 2 Cents. I'm your host, Chris Walters, and joining me is my toothless co-host, the gummy guzzler himself, Sean Knox.
Yep, it's me, your boy with no teeth and the only person on earth who sweats while he breathes. How's everyone doing?
Hey, everybody. I hope you had a fantastic 2 weeks. It's good to be back. Sean, how are you feeling today? How's life treating you?
I'm all right. Moved my living room around so it's a little bit nicer. Masturbated like twice today, so I'm feeling good. I'm feeling up there.
Well, good. Anyway, Sean, are you ready to talk about quite possibly the two dumbest yet most circulated conspiracy theories I have personally ever heard of?
Well, yeah. I hope that I don't hurt any feelings today, and no, obviously I want to fucking destroy these people because I'm sorry, but you are the dumbest people alive.
I will say they made it a lot easier than I thought they would, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I went into this trying to
think?
see the their side, but I came out quite disappointed on how much I could not see their side. So
yeah, I'll get into it a little bit more as we go, okay?
But before we rip and tear into these people like Doom Guy, let's go ahead and tell everybody what we're drinking today and propose a toast. Today I am drinking gin again. This one's the one that my dad bought me though. So it's the, a little more aged and everything, but it's still Tanqueray. Number 10 is what it's called. Sean, what are you drinking?
I'm just drinking good old Apothic red wine because I'm a man of class.
All right. Well,
pretty much
fine.
it. Like, I didn't want to drink Santori whiskey and piss everyone off again.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of thinking of changing it up just because I think I drank gin the past like 3 times, but it's like whatever. Anyway, today's toast is going to go out to all of you who are smart enough to not buy into every single conspiracy theory you hear, especially batshit crazy ones like Flat Earth or Hollow Earth. As we say here in the Tipplers Tavern, which is our make-believe studio, remember to drink responsibly and think responsibly. If the theory sounds ridiculous, chances are it probably is. Use that thing called common sense and do yourself a favor. It'll save you a lot of trouble, I promise. Anyway, cheers to those of you with common sense.
Cheers.
Now, let's go ahead and dive right on into today's very first topic, the Flat Earth theory. What is the Flat Earth theory? Well, in a nutshell, Flat Earth theory is that the Earth is not round, but in fact, a large flat surface. But the theory, bizarrely, goes much deeper than just that. More so, the theory insists that Antarctica is actually a 150-foot tall ice wall that encases the rim of the Earth, to keep people from falling off the edge. Further, NASA is said to keep guards posted along this ice wall to prevent anyone from traversing it and reaching the other side of the ice wall, and thus reaching the edge of Earth and potentially falling off. Totally believable from just the start there, right? Well, the theory is supposedly further established by reassuring that the very idea that the Earth is round and or a sphere is, in itself, a conspiracy theory that we have been spoon-fed to convince us of the world's biggest lie. So, why would the powers that be want us to believe that the Earth is round instead of flat? The answer is quite simple in the minds of flat earthers. They want you to believe that the Earth is not special. You see, if we believe the Earth is round just like all the other planets, then that's what the Earth just becomes, another planet. The only difference, of course, before that, we and all other forms of life live here. But this just goes further to prove that the Earth is unique. And if the Earth were flat, then, well, aha! We have discovered that the Earth is not just another planet, but in fact the root of the solar system, and quite possibly, the universe. Are you still with me? I hope so, because that's not even the tip of the iceberg. Actually, that's probably the most believable part of this theory that you're going to hear today, because the rest just tragically and quickly descends into nonsense. Before we go any deeper into their beliefs and mindsets, let's take a look at some background information that's going to help us understand the Flat Earth Society, Flat Earth believers, and the theory as a whole. The Flat Earth theory has been around for a very long time, much longer than I could have imagined. Granted, back in my elementary school days, I remember these tales of Christopher Columbus sailing the ocean blue in a mission to prove that the Earth was round. Some of you might remember this story, but like me, you were misinformed. You see, Columbus never set out to prove if the Earth was round or not, but instead made some miscalculations about the distance of his trip to Asia. So this legend is in fact quite possibly an entire work of fiction. Complete construction from the wonderful mind of Washington Irving, whom some of you might know is best recognized for his works like Rip Van Winkle or The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. According to an article from History.com, Irving was inspired to write a biography about Columbus during a visit to Spain, where he observed many documents which detailed the explorer's journeys. Irving was mostly a writer of fiction, creating compelling stories with historically accurate backdrops, characters, and situations. But obviously, if you're familiar with the story of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, you know that a good majority of it is fabricated. Because there's a guy running around with no head, and he's on a horse throwing pumpkins and shit at people. To keep a long point short, though, the story about Christopher Columbus sailing out to prove the Earth is round is in fact not true. And like this story, you cannot take everything that you have learned in school or any formal setting as fact. Now, to their credit, this is how the minds of a few flat earthers work. That's exactly why they question everything, because they reject the premise that everything that you learn in a formal setting or in school is, fact. But that's just some of them, but not most of them. And therein lies the problem. Like with all things, it only takes a few bad apples to spoil the bunch. Ridiculous as flat earth theory may be, it is in no way helped by the ones who choose to blindly regard wild claims and absurd pseudoscience as fact and use it to push this theory. Now, with that in mind, let's continue. The way we're going to continue is actually going to be a little bit different compared to what we normally do here. Usually we like to tell you facts that we've researched, then we give you, our opinions in the process. This time, however, you're going to hear these so-called facts, and I use air quotes there, about flat Earth straight from the source, from the stupid horse's mouth, so to speak. That's right. We're going to instead read to you, word for word, what the Flat Earth Society has available to everybody on their website. This way, no one can say that we didn't give them a fair chance, and we don't have any information that they wouldn't give you themselves. So going forward, unless otherwise stated, everything will be from the Flat Earth Society website. Sean, would you please kick us down this crazy road?
Yeah, and by the way, guys, I haven't read this yet, so this I'm probably gonna break a couple of times, but just keep with me. So, first off, we're gonna start off with their very own wiki page, which is filled with all their so-called knowledge and supposed facts. And on the main page of the wiki, it reads as follows. Welcome to the Flat Earth Wiki, otherwise known as The Few, a collaborative resource maintained by the Flat Earth Society. This website is dedicated to unraveling the true mysteries of the universe and demonstrating that the Earth is flat and that round Earth doctrine is a little more than an elaborate hoax. The Flat Earth Society holds that there is a difference between believing and knowing. If you don't know something and cannot understand it by its first principles, then you shouldn't believe it. We must, at the very least, know exactly how conclusions were made about the world and the strengths and weaknesses behind those deductions. Our society emphasizes the demonstration and explanation of knowledge. Flat Earth theory has grown over the centuries like a wandering sojourner, hungry for truth and eager for hungry for truth and eager for discovery. It's changed from the learned conjectures by our ancestors of antiquity to Victorian polymaths like Dr. Samuel Burleigh Ralbotham. And it even thrives today in a worldwide grassroots effort of scholarship. This wiki reflects these stages of flat Earth theory by containing information and works from each era of humanity. As people walk through the ages collecting data and knowledge, the flat Earth theory walked with them, growing wise and robust in kind. Okay. Sorry, this is hurting my fucking head. We, editors of few, hope that you find the truth and erudition of these works, as so many before you have. Within these digital pages, you can expect to find the skepticism and understanding needed to break free from the constraints of conventional dogmatic thinking and brave the pioneering waters of true science and learning. More specifically, you will find flat Earth proofs conducted by flat earthers across the world and flat Earth concepts, terminology, and discourse. May the various flat Earth evidence and flat Earth maps guide your journeys to places wonderful and to ideas formerly unfathomable. Okay.
Yeah. So just reading their front page statement there, I want to point out a few things, and we're probably going to point it out a few more times as we go through this.
Yeah, go ahead.
They use a lot of fancy wordplay in there, and I won't say that they use a lot of big words, but they'll use words that are intentionally misleading to kind of guide a lot of gullible people. Like I said, we're going to bring this up a couple more times, but I just want to point it out every single time that they do it because they do it a lot. So in stuff like this, there's a section here where they say, break free from the constraints of conventional dogmatic thinking and brave the pioneering waters of true science and learning. That's a lot of mumbo jumbo for them trying to say, we are the ones that are speaking truth. But they use
saying we're right, everyone else is wrong.
Yeah, and they use such velvety wordplay there that it entices, like I said, not to call you dumb, but just gullible or naive people into thinking like, oh, these guys are the ones that are telling me the truth. It's not it's not the government. So they do this a lot, and I just wanted to point that out, that they always try to say that they're the ones telling you the truth. They use words like science, which, always applies to people thinking that it's based on facts, when really, when you start analyzing, it's not science. They don't have any real science. They have science in there, but it's not based on any actual, reality that we live in.
Yeah, no, like how they termed it with ancestors of antiquity to Victorian polymaths like Dr. Samuel Burleigh Ralbotham. Like, he is also a flat earther. So whenever you're like, hey, flat earther, is the earth flat? They're like, yeah. They're like, see?
Yeah.
That doesn't fucking prove anything, dumbass.
Flat Earth is real. Like, well, no shit. And
like, that's
we're
all
going
it
to talk
was.
about that Samuel Burleigh Ralbotham guy a little bit here too.
Okay. Now then, let's go ahead and analyze a few other sections of the wiki. Next up is a section about how they describe themselves, and it reads: "What is the Flat Earth Society? The Flat Earth Society is a group actively promoting the Flat Earth movement worldwide. Descending from Samuel Shetton's International Flat Earth Research Society and the Universal Synthetic Society before it, we continue the age-old tradition of questioning the round Earth doctrine and challenging authorities, acknowledging the link between various unconventional beliefs. The Society also occasionally engages in other controversial debates, striving to provide a voice for all free thinkers and zeticists. Zeticists, sorry, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a couple of things to talk about here, mainly explaining what and who some of these things and people are. Samuel Shetton, who is mentioned in this, is definitely someone we need to talk about. According to their wiki, again, this is who he was. Samuel Shetton, a fellow of the Royal Astronomical Society and Royal Geographic Society, founded the Flat Earth Society in 1956. After renaming it from the Universal Synthetic Society, he led the Flat Earth Society from its founding in 1956 until his death in 1971, at which time the leadership passed to Charles K. Johnson. Shetton collected material, gave lectures, and generated publicity for the society so that by his death in 1971, the society had over 100 members. Fucking congratulations, 100. Wow.
Yeah, booming 100.
Samuel Shetton managed to acquire a fairly large following and remained the president of the society until his death in 1971. When the first photographs of the Earth were published early in the early years of spaceflight, Shetton dismissed them as optical illusion, because by a wide-angle lens, which made the Earth seem curved when it was not. Later, he would dismiss all the photos as fakes, along with the entire space program. Okay, so with this part, it kind of just seems like all they're doing is saying, like, oh yeah, he dismissed them. And just so you know, wide-angle lenses, like, back in, 1969, there was a slight curve to them, but not that slight. Like, for the most part, it was actually pretty accurate photographs. And, like, right now, I'm on a widescreen monitor. There's no curvature in anything that's on my monitor. Like, there's no, like, the monitor itself is curved, but everything else is flat. So with that kind of thinking, it just seems like very contradictory to something that he knows jack shit about. Like, I doubt he was a fucking photographer, or, you know, he didn't work for fucking NASA. He didn't, you know. I just hate when people see something that is hard to believe, and just because they're not in that world, they automatically dismiss it as, oh, well, that can't be real.
Yeah.
Okay, well, fucking...
That's my problem with this, too, is it doesn't say Shetton disproved anything. All it says is he's dismissed this stuff. So he basically, exactly, saw it and was just like, no, that's bullshit. I don't believe that. And that's it. That's all he did. And they're like pointing this out like that was some big revelation. Like, you can do that about anything. That doesn't make you some fucking philosophical genius. That doesn't make you some, like, leader of people. All he did was see a round Earth or whatever, and from space flights, and he was just like, I don't believe that. Nope. Don't work for me.
That's
like
not flat. That's like me seeing a Tesla and being like, oh, that's a really cool car. I'm like, how many miles per gallon is it? And they'll be like, oh, it doesn't take any gallons. It's electric. And they're like, and I'm like, what? No fucking way. Only cars that run on gas are cars.
I don't believe
that's
that
not
for
true.
a minute.
You're
I don't
lying.
run on no electricity. Show me where it runs on electricity. Exactly where in that car does the electricity make it run? They're like right there, and you're like, I don't believe you.
Yeah, like that's the knowledge that he's using. Like, it's so fucking dumb. Oh shit.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll continue from here. Some of you might be wondering what the Universal Zetetic Society is, or what zetetic even means. Well, zetetic is basically just a fancy Greek word for a skeptic, with the actual definition being proceeding by inquiry. That's according to the Oxford Dictionary, at least. As for the Universal Zetetic Society, well, the group was basically that preceded the Flat Earth Society. They just became the Flat Earth Society. And again, I just want to point out, like we were saying before, velvety wordplay. They just like to throw zetetic in there because it sounds different than just saying skeptics. But anyway, allow me to relay what the Flat Earth Society says to describe it. The Universal Zetetic Society, or acronym UZS, was the precursor to the Flat Earth Society. It was founded shortly after the death of Samuel Ralbotham, a.k.a. Parallax. He went by a pen name, which was Parallax, by the way. By Ralbotham's adherents. I know. When I read that, I was like, what the fuck? You gotta be kidding me.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Anyway, the UZS was active well into the early part of the 20th century, publishing many issues of a magazine titled The Earth, Not a Globe Review. In 1971, the UZS was renamed UZS, yeah, I said that right, was renamed to the Flat Earth Society when Samuel Shetton became its leader. Again, we have another name pop up in there. Who was Samuel Ralbotham? Let's go ahead and see what they have to say about him. So Samuel Burleigh Ralbotham, a.k.a. Parallax, born 1816, died 1884, was an English medical doctor and inventor who wrote Zetetic Astronomy, Earth, Not a Globe, based on his decades-long scientific studies of the Earth, published a 16-page pamphlet in 1849, which he later expanded into a 430-page book in 1881, expounding his views. According to Ralbotham's scientific method, his own scientific method, which he called Zetetic Astronomy, the Earth is a flat disk centered at the North Pole and bounded along its southern edges by a wall of ice, with the sun, moon, planets, and stars only a few thousand miles above the surface of the Earth. Oh, man. Ralbotham and his followers gained notoriety by engaging in raucous public debates with leading scientists of the day. One such clash, involving the prominent naturalist Alfred Russel Wallace, led to the several lawsuits for fraud and libel. After Ralbotham's death, his thousands of followers established the Universal Zetetic Society, published a magazine entitled The Earth Not a Globe Review, and remained active well into the early parts of the 20th century. So, who was Samuel Burleigh Ralbotham? Well, he was just another fucking cuckoo bird who never quite developed past the mental age of 5 years old and perhaps ate one too many crayons as a youngin'. That last part was just me, obviously. But that's just my opinion of him. There are a couple of other leadership people mentioned in the statements along their website, but none of them really add anything to the conversation we're having here today, so we're just going to glaze over them. Instead, let's talk about what the round Earth doctrine is, because that popped up earlier. Oh yeah, boy, here we go. Buckle your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen, because this is where we start to hop the train to Crazy Town, which is just one stop over from Dumb Shitsville, which itself is just a hop, skip, and a jump away from You're a Fucking Idiotburg. All right, last one was a stretch, but you get it. Okay, so what is the round Earth doctrine? Surprisingly, they don't have this phrase outrightly defined on their wiki, but in simple terms, the round Earth doctrine is their way of making the fact that the Earth is round sound false. You see, that's a pretty common thing on the wiki, like we had mentioned earlier. They do a good job of using lingo and forming coherent, structured sentences that trick other gullible people into buying their bullshit. And I have a good feeling that this is why the movement has grown so much, because it's a target demographic for, those who are already prone to believe conspiracy theories and those who are susceptible to fancy verbiage. It doesn't take a genius to understand that if someone speaks with a lot of gravitas and confidence, that what they're saying to you is going to just immediately become more convincing. Scary enough, that's how a lot of gullible people have, helped people like Hitler get to power. He spoke with a lot of passion, and it was persuasive enough to get others to murder millions of innocent people because of it. And I know that's a stretch linking those two, but that's how scary this stuff can become. If we get a lot of people to believe weird, just outlandish shit like this, it could get somewhere crazy like that, and we should probably put a punch into it before it gets there. So anyway, all I'm saying is don't be sheep, trust your instincts, see past people's bullshit, all right? But let's continue. Sean, you mind taking over?
Yeah, the next section we want to cover is a pretty important one, and and a question that inevitably pops up for flat believers all the time. So, people have been into space, right? How have they not discovered that the Earth is flat? The most commonly accepted explanation of this is that space agencies of the world are involved in a conspiracy faking space travel and exploration. This likely began during the Cold War space race, in which the USSR and USA were obsessed with beating each other into space to the point that each faked their accomplishments in an attempt to keep pace with the other's supposed achievements. Since the end of the Cold War, however, the conspiracy is most likely motivated by greed rather than political gains, and using only some of their funding to continue to fake space travel saves a lot of money to embezzle for themselves. Okay. In light of the above, please note that we are not suggesting that space agencies are aware that the Earth is flat and actively covering the fact up. They depict the Earth as being round simply because that is what they expect it to be. Okay. Oh, okay. This shit hits a nerve with me so fucking bad, only because I am obsessed with fucking space travel.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I'm obsessed with space and like astrophysics and all that shit. However, you know what I don't do? I don't go and talk to an astrophysicist thinking that I can keep up with how he fucking thinks, he or she. Because, you want to know why? I'm not a fucking astrophysicist. Like, I'm sorry, but this is so fucking dumb. Okay, the space race in the USSR and USA, honestly, I personally don't know why that became a thing. And, fucking probably take me 5 seconds to figure it out. However, the whole reason we're fucking skipping ahead to try to space, be more space. I almost said space travel. Whatever. The reason why we want to explore space is because we want to know how the forces of nature itself work. And guess what? Space is the majority of nature. Whenever people think nature, they think, oh, grass, trees, and no, not really. Most of nature is fucking a vacuum and a bunch of just gaseous and solid giants floating around in nothingness.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm super into it. However, with the preface before, thinking that how Chris was saying that the whole reason they want the Earth to be flat is because they want it to be unique. It is fucking unique already. We have shit tons of life. Like, honestly, imagine going to any other planet and just seeing a deer. Like, that would blow your fucking mind. Like, that's unique enough. Why do they have to be like, oh, well, this planet has to, completely ignore all other laws of nature? Just shut the fuck up, you fucking idiots. Okay. Anyway, what do you think about this specifically?
Yeah, I don't know. It's fucking stupid because basically what they're saying is that they just believe that we have never been to space, and like, I have my own opinions about stuff like the moon landing and things like that. Like, I get that, but I don't believe that we have never been to space. I think that is outright stupid to say. Like, how would you explain satellites and how we have to, repair them and stuff like that? Like, they think all of that's fake too? That doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
The fucking ISS.
They go on about the ISS on their website, actually. They don't believe that the ISS station and all that stuff is real. It's absurd, the stuff they believe.
Okay, well then explain how... I just want to see one of these fucking idiots just use Google Maps and then...
Yeah, and
that's all you have to do.
It's like, it's funny too, because you go on there and like, I went on there with a very open mind, and I was like really expecting to at least be like blown away once, be like, oh shit, yeah, actually, I don't know how you explain that. But every single time I came across something where even like, I don't know, I could always disprove it or, whatever, just a couple seconds thought. But anyway, you can go ahead and continue.
So before I move on, I want to briefly mention that the Flat Earth Society doesn't actually believe that the space organization of NASA is an organization created to help perpetuate the lie that the Earth is round, which is what they said before in that little bit I just read. They believe that is their sole purpose. Here's what they say in their own words. The purpose of NASA is to fake the concept of space travel to further America's militaristic dominance of space. That was the purpose of NASA's creation from the very start. To put Hold on. So, to put ICBMs and other weapons into space, or at least appear to. The motto, scientific exploration of new frontiers for all mankind, was nothing more than a front. The Earth is portrayed as round in NASA media because NASA thinks it's round. They are not running a real space program, so they wouldn't know what shape the Earth truly takes. At the time of NASA's creation, the general population already believed that the Earth was round, based on the handed-down teachings of the ancient Greeks, which is why it was depicted in that manner. As with everyone else in the country, the people at NASA were taught the fiction of the globe, Earth from the cradle, so there was no doubt in their mind as to how to display it. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. Did you ever see the video of a fucking flat Earth idiot? Well, actually, I don't know if it was a flat earther, but it just reminded me of this. It was a dude that was either a flat earther or he thought he faked the moon landing. But this dude walks up to like an 80-year-old Buzz Aldrin and tells him to fucking swear on the Bible that he landed on the moon. Oh yeah. And Buzz Aldrin just fucking decks that motherfucker.
Yeah.
And guess what? I would do the same exact thing. Like, I'm not that big on violence. I'm a pretty passive person. But seriously, if you shit on everyone who, like, that's kind of how I feel about it. Like, the Challenger explosion. Like,
Yeah.
saying that the Earth is flat kind of connects to me as been like, oh yeah, so all those people on Challenger, like, oh, those were fake. Like, really? Because a lot of people have died, like, in space and astronauts and shit like that. But I don't know. It just irritates me more and more, especially when it gets connected to space travel and fucking air travel in general. Anyway, all this crap about NASA is referred to as the space travel conspiracy. Okay, so once again, attaching some enticing title to it to make it sound official and convincing. And with all this in mind, they have a few forms of quote-unquote evidence of this space travel conspiracy on their wiki. The first one I want to bring up is a photo called "Sneakers on the Moon," taken from an official lunar photo. An official lunar photo from NASA from Project Apollo. The photo shows a few boot prints from astronauts' boots, with one print appearing a little bit different than the others. And they used this photo as evidence that the moon landing was faked because they claimed that this different shoe print is from a sneaker. Now, while there isn't an immediate explanation for why it's different, that doesn't automatically mean that it's not from some other type of astronaut boot. They just jump to a claim and shove a photo in your face as evidence, even though they don't really have proof of anything. And all it says on this page as an explanation is, it's a completely different sole. And that's it. Like, sole of shoe. No other explanation for what kind of different shoe print it is. If they really had any evidence here, they would say what kind of sneaker it came from, for instance. Like, if they're like, oh yeah, those are fucking Jordan 1s, bro.
Yeah.
That would immediately add merit to their claims, which I probably would have agreed with as well. Yeah. But these claims are baseless, based on nothing other than hearsay and jumping to conclusions. And I have the photo right here, Chris. Like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, and I immediately think the same thing. Like, if they could have linked it to a specific shoe, then I believe it. Because, I mean, looking at the photo, yeah, like, you can tell it's a different print. But it also doesn't look that much different than the other one enough to where I would think it's a completely different shoe. Because, I mean, looking at the way that the indentations from the sole of the boot, it looks like it, he could have just slid sideways or something to make that print. So, I mean, really, that's not very convincing.
Yeah. By the way, we're also going to post this on our social medias, Facebook and Instagram, if you want to check them out. Otherwise, if you just have time for yourself, just look up "Sneakers on the Moon" on Google.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, you can always just visit their page too. I fully give you my blessing to do that, because it's a journey when you go on that website, man. It really is. But yeah, I don't really buy this photo very much. Upon initial inspection, you're like, whoa, what? And then it just takes a little bit of brain power to go, yeah, probably not though. He probably just slid his boot, or who knows? Maybe they had a different fucking sole on one of them. They're not NASA experts. These guys seem to think that they know everything, and they don't. That's the problem. They go, oh, well, they had this boot on. Well, how do you fucking know? You weren't running the space program, motherfucker.
Yeah, like a different astronaut could have just had a different boot on. Anyway, all right. Aside from that, there are a number of other supposed forms of evidence on their site. Another one is a video in which the creator does their best to convince the viewer that the NASA Mars rover pictures are fakes. Okay, hold up. I'm sorry, but the Mars rovers are like on my heart. I forgot. Oh my god, I forgot. Is Opportunity the one that died?
Yeah, I think so. That was the last one, if I remember right.
I feel my heart crack because. And one of them like sings "Happy Birthday" to itself every like fuck you, you piece of shit. Those are like little fucking gifts to the world that only NASA knew about, and then they're just like, hey, so just so you know, this rover sings "Happy Birthday" to itself every year, and it's lonely, and you're like, oh no. Anyway, so in the 6-minute long video, it depicts that someone had photoshopped these photos by suggesting that certain items in the photo are originally different colors. For example, they point out that in a modern sundial can be seen in the photo, and that with any They point out that a modern sundial can be seen in the photo, and that with any modern sundial, they usually have 4 color-coded corners. Holy shit! 1 corner green, 1 blue, 1 red, and 1 yellow. In the photo from NASA, the 4 corners all appear to be mottled red or dark green. The same can be said for the NASA logo, which many of you might know that the logo is generally blue with red NASA and a swipe, all that good shit. Yep. In the photo from NASA, the logo is red. The conclusion of this video is that through Photoshop, NASA doctored a photo by playing with the color tones of the original picture, even going as far as changing the color from color of the sky from blue to red. I'm sorry, I just stopped for one more second. I just really imagine like a NASA scientist like downloading fucking Adobe Photoshop. Like, oh fuck, it's a $20 subscription.
Yeah, well, I'm not paying for that. I'll use the free trial. I gotta make some Mars photos real quick.
So the creator of the video demonstrates this by replicating the same effects with his or her own photo. But see, all it takes is like 2 minutes of research to poke a hole in the video creator's bullshit. Fucking Chris, tell them what you found when you visited the NASA website and looked up some of the photos.
Yeah, so literally I did this with maybe like 30 minutes of time total, and that was, probably like a good 20 to 25 minutes of that was just me looking at Mars photos because I got distracted. But not surprisingly, I found some photos that compared directly to the ones that this video creator is trying to use as an example of forgeries. And I have them right here so you can look and compare too. And again, we'll be posting these on our social media so you can look at them. The first ones are the ones that the video creator is trying to say he had from NASA and is trying to show, all the supposed discrepancies that he found. The next two are the real photos from the NASA website and look nothing like the ones from the video. None of the discoloration or pixel difference or anything else that video claims you can be seen here. The only one doing Photoshop, I'm assuming, is probably the creator of the video to try to fool, gullible fucking people. So, looking at that first photo, that's called like the nest or something like that, and I believe it's what the robots drop down in on. So if you see that first photo, you can tell it's all red tinted. And then you look at the photo that NASA has, photo number 1 from NASA, completely different looking. And like I said, this is right from their website, so I'm not getting it from some other doctored source. It's straight from NASA. This is, and I'm assuming this is the same photo that he used here because it looks the same. And yeah, as you can tell, it looks like the video creator just fucking threw a red tint on this and tried to convince people that NASA actually uploaded this photo, but they did not.
Yeah, the photo 2, the second one, there's a little bit of like infrared glare, which wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, and I
like that doesn't even
picture,
happen on accident.
I pulled that picture directly from the video. That's why you can see that YouTube, timeline right there. I pulled that photo directly from the video, so that comes directly from that video creator. And that's the photo he was using to try to say that they did some discoloration on the photo. But then down here, I have a photo of their sundial straight from NASA, and as you can see, all colors of those 4 corners are represented: green, yellow, blue, red.
Yeah, and even like the slight discoloration, like maybe making it seem a little bit darker, like the atmosphere there and the lighting.
Yeah, like that just has to do with camera exposure and stuff like that.
Mm. Yeah, that is opportunity. Oh, I love opportunity. So cute.
Yeah. Anyway, you can clearly see that these are, like the video creator is just full of shit. But now that we've given you the perspective of the Flat Earth Society straight from their own words, let's go ahead and bring up some of their more radical and ridiculous theories surrounding their Flat Earth theory. So just to let you know, we're moving away from directly quoting their website and instead referencing other theories and claims from other sources. So, as I had mentioned near the beginning of this topic, the best argument I could find as for why anyone would want to trick us and make us think that the world is round when it is actually flat is because it makes the Earth special. Now, keep in mind, flat earthers believe that all other celestial bodies are still spheres, not just Earth. That's right. The sun and the moon and all the other planets are still spheres. Earth is just somehow the odd man out. Don't even get me started on how dumb I think that shit is. But anyway, this is apparently the whole point of some certain flat Earth believers. If the Earth is flat, then it shatters the whole reality that we have been fed. It apparently breaks the entire Big Bang Theory, evolution, gravity, you name it. And how does that exactly render all of these other well-rounded theories and laws of our world? I don't know. Not one single fucking comment I read on these forums, on their website, any of that could ever clearly explain how they thought this shattered all those other things. They They just kind of said that and expected you to roll with it. I mean, it's fucking absurd how little these guys try to actually convince you with any sort of like valid argument or evidence. It's almost always 100% hearsay and claims jumping. I spent about 3 days reading things on website, and let me tell you, even the most compelling things I read on that site became uncompelling when I spent about 30 seconds or more giving it a second thought. I would read something and be like, oh, what? That's crazy. Maybe they really are onto something. And then, logic would kick in again, and I'd be like, oh, no, that's fucking stupid as shit. I'm on an even more batshit crazy level of beliefs. There are some who believe that the flat Earth resides on the back of a giant cosmic turtle. And I'm not making that up, I swear to God. But not only that, but the belief is that there are actually... I'm sorry, hold on. There are actually an infinite number of turtles below the Earth who are stacked on top of one another, holding each other up, and thus holding up the flat Earth. What the Donkey Kong fuck? I mean, I could maybe force myself to believe all the other shit, but fucking giant cosmic turtles. Did Stephen King come up with this theory?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, oh, God, dude. I have to take a second, get my composure back.
To be fair, I mean, I think the only thing that I've referenced before even on this show was that was one of the Buddhist beliefs or whatever. But religious beliefs are always out there, and if you're just oh, it's about spiritual, you're like, okay, yeah, turtles are chill. But when someone's like, no, legitimately, we're on top of turtles.
Yeah, and that's one of the points I'm going to bring up too, is that for one, not obviously all flat earthers don't believe in this form of the flat earth theory. And like you said, this actually comes from a more spiritual side of flat earth theorists. This turtle theory stems from, like you mentioned, Hindu mythology, where there's 4 world elephants that hold up the earth. And then underneath them is the world turtle or tortoise, who in kind holds them up. But I mean, to actually believe this in our modern day and age is just fucking Looney Tunes. Yeah. Another fuckwit theory is that flat Earth is being held up by dark energy, which is mysterious matter of some kind that actually propels the flat Earth upward into space, apparently accelerating at thousands of miles per hour, and that's how we're staying hunkered down to it instead of upward gravity, basically. So this upward motion is what they claim actually creates what we have been led to perceive as gravity, and that the gravity we all know and love is just lies told to us by the government. Because, of course. But, okay. Anyway, Sean, we're at the point where it's time to lay it all out for everyone to let them know exactly how we feel about flat Earth theory. So now, Sean, how would you describe your feelings towards the flat Earth theory?
Okay. So, why? Truly, why? I understand the whole preface of going to school and being going to school, getting out of school, and then coming to the conclusion oh, this part was different. This actually didn't happen, A, B, and C, and D. As Americans, we're taught a lot of shit that aren't exactly true, and, but you want to know why I believe that? Is because every fucking country does that. And those are a little bit smaller things. It's history, stuff like that. However, I have the utmost respect for scientists to the point where I don't talk to them. And like I said, well, not that I don't talk to them, but that I don't think that I am equal to them intellectually. I bet I can kick their fucking ass on Modern Warfare, but guess what? I'm not going to be able to fucking put together a mathematical formula. It's so fucking arrogant of people to try to disprove something that we've believed in for a while, and it's not even that it's not relevant to try to disprove it. It's always good to question your authorities and blah blah blah, but science isn't an authority. It's just science. Yeah. There's no authority in science. If someone tells you oh, okay, if you do this you'll get sick, and then you're oh, I'm gonna fucking do it anyway because I don't believe you, you're an authority, and then you get sick and die, guess what? You're a fucking idiot. All he was trying to do was help you. And like if someone explains to you like, oh yeah, if you jump off this bridge at this height, you'll survive. But if you jump off from that cliff, which is higher, you'll die. And that man has a fucking pretty good understanding of gravity and science. Then you're like, no, I'm gonna jump off the fucking cliff because fuck you. Guess what? You're dead. You fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, I just don't understand why people have to question shit that isn't, well, not question, but have to be rebellious towards something that isn't an authoritative figure. Like if you want to throw conspiracy theories out there about your government and stuff like that, that's one thing. But whenever you try to question shit that there's no harm in it, and you're trying to say that like almost like angry arguing back, being like, hey, I don't like that you fucking said that this is how it is because that isn't true. It's like, all right, well, what's your proof? And then you give us shit proof, and we have way fucking better proof than you. Sorry, but you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah. For me, it's like the same as people that, they're getting their car worked on, and they bring it into a shop, and the mechanic tells them, like, hey, you need this and this done. They'll be like, oh, your tires are bald. You need a new transmission. Your brake line, is fucked. You need all this replaced. And they, the customer, not knowing anything about cars, goes, I don't believe you. I don't think so. My car runs fine. Like, well, you brought it in here to us to get it fixed. They're like, yeah, well, I just brought it in here because I needed air in my tires. And they're like, well, you need air in your tires because your tires are going bald. And they're like, oh, no, that's not why. I just need air in my tires. Just put air in the tires. I know what I'm talking about. Trust me. I have no knowledge of cars, but I know they need air. It's like, why would you not trust the guy who has the tools, has the knowledge to inspect your vehicle? And it's like, it's the same logic there. It's like, why would you not trust the scientists, the fucking physicists, just everybody that has all this knowledge? They've done the homework, they've gone to school, they have all this knowledge, and you're not trusting these people. Why in God's name do you think that there's just thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people lying to you to keep this fucking, this truth hidden from you? I don't buy it for 1 minute, man. I'm sorry. But I don't know. I mean, it's fucking hilarious how, because I spent like all of last night, I think, on their forums just reading shit. And it was even some of the moderators that would post on there were some of the like big people in the Flat Earth Society. Like there's a guy named Tom Bishop. And there was a post where a guy was basically saying, like, I don't believe in flat earth theory, convince me, do your best to convince me. And this Tom Bishop guy couldn't do shit to convince him. All he kept doing was roundabout, sentences that basically led back to the same question you asked him in the first place, never really answered anything, kind of like politicians. And kept linking him to videos and stuff of other people talking, so you basically never had to answer a question. And that right there should tell you something. If he never answers your question, he doesn't have an answer, okay?
Yeah,
so,
I mean, with science, like, we have our science teachers and stuff that do plenty of fucking playful experiments and stuff like that, and teaching the scientific method to observe and then report, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's why, because they want to be like, okay, well, what's your opinion on this? And tell you to experience it, not to fucking question it and be like, okay, like, and well, scientists do question everything. That's why I respect them, because they question everything to figure out if there's anything deeper. However, flat earthers, they claim to do that and they don't. They just say like, oh yeah, we're an inquisitive kind of people. It's like, okay, what are you questioning? Oh, well, just that the earth is the round earth isn't real. Okay, well, how do you prove that? Like, let's do a little test. And they're like, well, I have this thing that I made that it's just kind of like a map of the flat earth. Okay, well, I don't need a map. I want an experiment to prove that. Well, yeah, exactly, you fucking idiot. I'm sorry, but like with science, there's just so many different ways to fucking prove it. And like how I mentioned before, like air travel and space travel in general fucking wouldn't exist if there was flat earth.
Well, and yeah, period. And the problem too, like you were saying, that they question things, but the only thing they're questioning is you and other people. They're not questioning themselves. They never question their supposed sciences. They never question their supposed leaders. They never question any of that. The ones that do end up not being flat earthers. Okay? Yeah. But all right, with all that said, that is going to take us into our segment known as...
Tipplers Tidbit.
Today's Tipplers Tidbit is brought to you by the Flat Earth Society and their new special dark energy drink, Truth Serum. Just one sip and it'll open your third eye to the truth of the world around you. May your earth be flat and your world turtle be strong. In veritate Victoria, motherfuckers! No, totally joking. I would never want to be sponsored by Flat Earth Society. No, in reality, we do not currently have a sponsor, but if you or someone you know would be interested or has that connection, we would be open to discussions with you about that. But aside from all that, your Tippler's Tidbit for the day is this. A common misconception about tequila is that there is a tradition of placing a worm in the bottle to prove its proof and or presence of agave. However, the reality is that the worms are not typically found in tequila bottles, but instead in mezcal. Mezcal, although similar to tequila, is created differently by being crafted with different agave plants, different distillation methods, and so on. Nowadays, the misconception has been so widespread that the worm can be found inside some, but not all types of tequila. But if you want to be a fancy pants know-it-all, you can drop that hot slice of knowledge on a victim of your choosing and assert your dominance as a superior and more knowledgeable being. This has been your Tippler's Tidbit.
Tipplers Tidbit.
All right, guys, it's going to bring us to topic number 2, the Hollow Earth Theory. Okay, so to start us off on Hollow Earth Theory, we're going to talk about a guy named Cyrus Reed Teed. And I love that name, Cyrus Reed Teed. Teed was an eclectic physician and alchemist who, through an experimental mishap, ended up believing he was a new messiah, because of course. What experimental mishap could cause you to think you're a messiah? Well, electroshock. You see, this guy accidentally zapped himself so hard that he woke up claiming he had visions from God. Talk about enlightening. Dad joke. To better summarize this story, here's an excerpt from atlasobscura.com on Cyrus Reed Teed. Cyrus Reed Teed was an eclectic physician whose experiments in alchemy often involved dangerously high levels of electricity. In one such experiment in 1869, Teed was shocked so badly that he blacked out. It was during this period of unconsciousness that Teed insists a divine illumination occurred. In this alleged mystical experience, Teed believed that God, in the form of a beautiful woman, divulged all of the secrets of the universe and urged him to use his scientific knowledge to interpret the Bible. Though many believe that Teed's experience was nothing more than a result of brain damage than divine intervention, Teed dramatically changed his life to fit his new calling. In the years that followed, Teed changed his name to Koresh, the Hebrew name for Cyrus. He began building the fundamental theories of his new religion, Koreshan Universology, or I can't even say it, Koreshanity. Of Teed's pseudoscientific theories, there was one that became the core tenet of Koreshanity, cellular cosmogony, the belief that the universe exists in a giant hollow sphere.
Wait, was this excerpt from their website or anything like that, or was it from...
It's not from their website. I couldn't find, like, an exact movement for Hollow Earth. There is one, apparently, but I couldn't find... it's not as popular as Flat Earth, I'll just say that.
No, it's not. I just wanted to know, because I was like, well, they put pseudoscientific, so I don't think this was them.
No, this wasn't from them. If it was, that would have been fucking hilarious. Shit. Here we basically have the birthplace of the Hollow Earth theory as it is known today. From this whack job who basically got his brain all jazzercised by some sweet vaults of thinking power. But there are some Hollow Earth-esque stories that predate this event as well. Sean, can you tell us about that?
Yeah, basically ancient religions and mythologies also believe that in a Hollow Earth, mostly in a form of an underworld or another realm. Such religions or mythologies include Hindu, ancient Greek, and Celtic mythology. In Hindu and other Indian cultures, the underworld is referred to as Patala or Pathalam, which is described as a subterranean realm. And interesting side note, this underworld realm is often described as being more beautiful than Svarga, which is their realm of heaven. According to the ancient Greeks, there were caverns under the surface which were entrances leading to the underworld, or they said there were, caverns, some of which were the caverns of Tanaron and Laconia, at Trozen and Argolis. What was it? Trozen and Argolis? Yeah.
Yep.
At Epthia and Thesprotia. Jesus Christ, fucking Greeks.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit in there.
At Heraclea in Pontos, and in Armenionia in Celtic mythology. There's a legend of the cave called Kurakan, whatever, also known as Ireland's Gate to Hell. A mythical and ancient cave from which, according to legend, strange creatures would emerge and be seen on the surface of the earth. So yeah, just a lot of legends and tales about underworld being quite literally under the world, and a lot of fucking super hard names to pronounce. Should go without saying that these folks obviously had a belief in a form of the Hollow Earth theory. Kind of stemmed from religion and hearsay as well, though, and I don't think it extended more past what's the word? Like folklore to them, though. Should go without saying that these folks, believed in it. But before we go too far down that path, let's go on back to Cyrus Reed Teed, picking up where Chris left off about him. And here's an article from Wired.com that ties in. So, quote, he, Cyrus Teed, started a cult called Koreshanity in Florida to convince the world of his geologic discovery. Geologic, Jesus fucking Christ, I can't talk. And on a beach near their commune for 5 months, the Koreshanites deployed the... Hold on. deployed the... Rectilianator, a device of their own creation, to scientifically measure that the Earth is in fact concave. Naturally, it was a success. Madness to be sure, but it was also a product of an idea put forth 200 years previous by one of history's greatest scientific minds, Edmund Halley. You see, Halley noticed that the Earth's magnetic field is rather unpredictable, with its lines shifting from year to year, and Halley, after whom the famous comet is named... Oh, Halley's Comet. Okay, my bad. Reckoned that the Earth's hollowness is to blame. We're standing on an outermost shell with the three more concentric shells within, and it's pulls of these inner shells that throw off our magnetic field. Oh, and according to Halley, there's undoubtedly life flourishing deep down there. This is a strange tale of the hollow Earth, a theory that even Halley himself realized was a tad unbelievable. If I shall believe, quote, if I shall believe to advance anything that looks like extravagant or romantic, he wrote in 1962, the reader is desired to suspend his... 1962. The reader is desired to suspend his censure till he have considered the force and number of the many arguments which concur to make good so new and bold a supposition. So wait, he's saying to basically think twice?
Yeah.
Okay. That's that's cool then. So Edmund Halley helped with this experiment. It was a success, but the reason for the experiment he didn't think was true. It just happened that experiment was accurate. And I don't know. That's kind of cool of him to be a part of that, and then still, even within it, he didn't like fully cave into the belief itself. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So basically, what he is saying here is that he realizes that the idea that they're going to try and sell to people is pretty unbelievable, and he even acknowledges that in order to get someone to believe this, that they would have to suspend all their actual understandings of how the world works. Again, here we go with crazy people wanting you to just forget everything you know or to understand and instead accept their whacked out versions of life. Hell no. Hello, no. Anyone with half an ounce of common sense should know not to listen to anyone who is telling you to reject everything you know. That's just fucking basic. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That right there is a huge red flag that says, I know nothing with me. Please, for the love of God, people, do not follow someone who asks you to forget everything you know. You know why they would want you to forget everything you know? Because everything you know would help you understand why this person is a fucking idiot. But all right. Instead of wasting our time analyzing the pseudoscience behind a hollow Earth, let's instead just jump right into talking about the real crazy side of what some people thought about hollow Earth, just to run through them as a list because we're running short on time. There are Nazi Germans, including Hitler, hiding inside Hollow Earth. Okay, the first one got me. I'm sorry. Okay, so there are Nazi Germans, including Hitler, hiding inside Hollow Earth. Apparently, the fleeing Nazis made a deal with a subterranean race hiding inside Hollow Earth and acquired sanctuary there. Whew, that's one.
Yep.
That's just one. Number 2, aliens/giants/advanced humans live in the Hollow Earth, and there are many different ideas about how an advanced race living inside... there are many different ideas about how an advanced race is living inside, but the premise is always the same. They're always peaceful, always super advanced at technology and medicine, and always have always live a long life. They are large, healthier animals inside the Hollow Earth, basically animals that have adapted to the unique climate of the Hollow Earth and have become larger and healthier as a result. Anything becoming bigger than what we already have prefaced is just so dumb. Like having a fucking giant, what was it, it's one of the fucking movies I watched, but they had like a fucking super huge fucking animal, and I can't remember what it was, but that can't scientifically exist.
I don't understand why people think that it living in like a cave or something is going to make it bigger. How is that going to make it bigger? It doesn't make... I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe there's some fucking pseudoscience behind that explanation, or there is some real science behind it, but in my logical mind, I cannot comprehend how that would ever make an animal bigger or a person bigger.
Okay, another thing. I'm just going to go off on a side tangent here, but with fucking... Lord of the Rings as an example. What happened to fucking Smeagol when he went into a cave?
He got smaller.
For 60 years. Yeah, he got smaller and skinnier, and he looks like a fucking rat.
That, to me, makes more sense than getting bigger. He turned into something that you would find in a cave, all shriveled, pale, fucking, basically skin and bones, fucking adapted to a cave. It makes sense to be in a cave and be fucking small, shriveled, and scrounging for food. Not fucking gigantic and like, I'm a fucking mammoth. I live in a cave. I can fucking eat everything all day. Like, no, there's no food in a cave. There's no sunlight. There's nothing.
Hold on. They have an explanation because inside the Hollow Earth is a unique type of sun having two sides, one day and one night. And so they have day and night, Chris.
There you go. A singular sun that is somehow also a moon.
Yeah, we all know that fucking giant balls of burning hydrogen fucking just be like, you know what? It's nappy time.
I'm gonna turn over for you the cold side of the moon for you, or the cold side of the sun.
Also there's a paradise inside of Hollow Earth resembling something like the Garden of Eden, essentially a perfect utopia. So, dude, like this is fucking better than Fiji, bro. Let's just go there. You want to know why we can't go there though? Unfortunately. Because it doesn't fucking exist. The list goes on and on, honestly. The most consistent one, though, is either superhumans or aliens. There are either superhumans or aliens inside because we all know aliens just love being fucking subterranean. Yep. There are, in fact, some people out there, of course, who live in fear of these subterranean dwellers. In an article from the New York Post, Rodney Clough, who is the main perpetrator of these crazy claims, said this of the Hollow Earth inhabitants. Quote, they regularly spy on us using spacecrafts and flying saucers. How can you use flying saucers if you're in a fucking giant cave?
Yeah.
God damn it. Okay, another quote. They want to keep an eye on us and stop us from starting a nuclear war. The majority of the UFOs actually come from inside our planet. Why, if they're subterranean, why would they give a shit about a nuclear fucking war?
I don't know. I'm sure he has an explanation, but I don't even know if I could comprehend it.
It seems like they have it fucking made under there.
I know. It's a perfect utopia down there, and they're like, hey, damn noisy neighbors, knock it off. They're going to get their dams and fucking... You guys are always warring up there. What's going on?
Shit. Okay. Go ahead. I can't.
All right. Back on topic, this Rodney Clough guy, as Sean mentioned, is the biggest Hollow Earth enthusiast. Oddly enough, flat earthers and hollow earthers like Rodney Clough disagree with one another, which I don't know why, but I found that fucking hilarious. So we are not living in a flat hollow earth. It's just one or the other. Rodney actually had this to say of flat earthers. I don't know how flat earthers can be so confused. They are obviously wrong. The world is not flat, it's hollow. They reject all the evidence. I don't know why, but holy fuck, that kills me every time I read it. They reject all the evidence. So it's like, he's like, fuck no, I have all this evidence that suggests it's hollow and it's not flat. And just not only that, but like, oh fuck, man.
Holy shit.
There's so much other stuff he says about the earth. Fuck me, crazy people are fucking hilarious. Okay, so hold on, here we go. Unlike flat earthers, the hollow earth movement believes that the world is in fact donut-shaped. How the fuck that works, I honestly don't know, but hey, let them believe, because fucking why not? Furthermore, they don't just believe that the earth is hollow, they also believe that the sun, the moon, and the stars and all the other planets are hollow. Somehow, this hollow earth theory is just vastly more retarded sounding than flat earth. Like, is it just me, or is this one just fucking completely bonkers, dude? Like, I fucking thought that reading about hollow earth was going to be more believable than flat earth, and I was wrong. Yeah, and it's due to people like Rodney Clough just coming in and fucking it all up. And
oh shit.
You know, I got to be honest, this is a completely fantastic comedic move. You set up a scenario that is like initially pretty easy to swallow. You're like, hollow earth, okay, you know, not totally unbelievable. What's your pitch? And you go, okay, so one day when this guy electrocuted himself, he woke up and said that God granted him a vision. One that included a hollow earth. Inside this hollow earth is a utopia, home to a race of humans or aliens, might be giants, could be Nazis, we don't know, who have achieved immortality. When they aren't busy riding around on their flying saucers and whatnot, they are spying on us up top. You know what? Just peeping and, you know, just checking on our shit all the time, see if we slip up, and if we do, God forbid, they will come up there and wipe us all out. Oh, and by the way, there's a sun inside there, and one part's day and one part's night. And did I mention that the world is a donut? Yeah, as you can tell, Hollow Earth is just an amazing idea full of well-researched and incredible evidence. But I think that's all the time that we're going to spend on this nutball theory, because I just don't want to give these idiots any more time out of my day.
And with that, we are going to move on to Tipplers Take Two.
Come on. So what's holding everything up here?
Art department.
So the grips are holding us back?
All right, try that take one more time.
1 second.
Hey, quiet on the set!
Tipplers Take Two, A-Mark.
Action!
Okay, so actually, we don't have a lot of movies to mention, but we have a lot of celebrities to mention. And what do celebrities do? They're generally in movies, so fuck it, right? One movie actually comes from the king himself, fucking Brendan Fraser, Journey to the Center of the Earth. And I think there was another movie before that, and it was written by, he's the same dude who wrote 1,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Ah, shit.
Yeah,
oh my god, I can't remember his name. But essentially, Brendan Fraser's character was a scientist, muscular scientist, because we all know that those exist. Came up with the theory that, you know, it's a hollow earth, or rather, there's just a giant cave that's sustaining life. And those terms, like, it's a kids movie, it's fun, it's exciting, there's fucking dinosaurs for some reason, you know, it doesn't go out of its way to seem insane fucking, like, proof or whatever, or try to be more, like, serious or anything. And, you know, you could probably make a serious movie out of it. And, like, there's other movies that are, like, that have subterranean creatures and shit, which I'll mention in a second. But, yeah, like, it's just a good, fun, wholesome movie. Please check it out. Fucking Brendan Fraser's still king. I don't give a fuck. And, it's really fun. And probably the first 3D movie I ever saw, so...
I think there was a sequel, too, with The Rock, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was. That was the one that had, like, little tiny elephants.
All right.
That's all I remember.
I never watched either one of them, so...
And the book was written by Jules Verne. That's who it was.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Sorry, I read 1,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I never read fucking Journey to the Center of the Earth. But scientific writer, you know, or sci-fi writer. Another movie, just because it flashed into my head, was The Descent.
Yep.
Oh my god.
That's a
probably
really good
one of one of my top 10 favorite horror movies. And the only reason I mention this is because it's more like it more brings into the condition like what would happen to people or animals or whatever that are trapped or that become subterranean over a long period of time. And that's basically what The Descent is. It's they go spelunking, this group of friends, and it's actually all female cast, isn't it?
Yeah, all females.
Yeah, that's probably like it's fucking so good. Even The Descent 2 was good. I don't give a shit. But yeah, so they go spelunking and they find out that there's a tribe or whatever, like a bunch of humanoid people living down there, and they're cannibalistic and they're fucking murderous as shit. And it's fucking terrifying. It was probably the first movie in a long ass time since like I think it was like The Ring scared the shit out of me, then no movie scared me for a long time, and then I watched The Descent and I was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I can't think of anything that directly relates to this. Fucking any movie. I mean, I'm sure there's documentaries on Flat Earth, there's documentaries on Hollow Earth, but they're all, probably funded by people who believe those directly. So, of course, they're going to go all fucking 3 a.m. History Channel on us and be like, yeah, it's true, right? It's true, right? Say it's true. Say it's fucking true. As far as celebrities who believe Flat Earth, which these are just probably the pinnacles of our people. You know what I mean? Like Tila Tequila, she's the top 10 person on the planet. No, of course not. She's a fucking retard.
Yeah, she also said in a separate Twitter post that she sympathized with Hitler. So I just want to throw that in there, how fucking retarded she is, because if Hitler were alive today, he would fucking kill her because of her skin color. So how fucking retarded are you to... And I'm sorry for using that word, but I have to. She's retarded. But how just empirically stupid do you have to be to endorse somebody who would probably kill you if they were around today? I honestly she'll say anything for clout. She'll say anything to get some, fame off of it. So she's fucking dumb all around.
Yeah. Another one is B.O.B., who is a rapper. I haven't heard of him, and there's a reason I haven't heard of him, probably because he's a fucking idiot who writes trash songs. I don't give a shit. Fuck you. And Millie Bobby Brown, maybe? She's the one who played Eleven in Stranger Things. She's also plays Enola Holmes in the new movie Enola Holmes. And I actually never heard anything about this, which, if this is true, this is upsetting because I actually genuinely like her. So
yeah, so this one isn't confirmed. It's just apparently in a Twitter live video or something like that. It was a Twitter live interview, I guess. Somebody had asked her if she believed in Flat Earth, and she didn't initially reject it. She just basically was saying that I can't remember quote for quote what she said, so I can't quote her. But basically saying that she didn't see enough evidence to disprove it, and therefore couldn't really say that she didn't believe in it. And people people didn't really know if she was taking the question seriously or not or anything. So it's not confirmed, but just the fact that she's curious about the flat earth theory leads people to believe that she might be a flat earther.
Yeah, but she's also a kid and also not an astrophysicist if you don't know. So of course she's going to fucking be a kid and question shit. That's fine. I don't really care. Geno Smith is another one who is a quarterback for the New York Giants. And we should always leave our scientific methods up to people who have suffered multiple concussions because because they just have a different way of thinking. Sorry, but no, I don't give a shit about your opinion, quarterback. You probably kick my ass. B.O.B. can probably shoot me, and Tila Tequila can probably write a song about me being an asshole. I don't really give a fuck. Fuck you. Kanye West, maybe. The only reason I'm not going to shit on Kanye is just because he's been doing a lot of weird shit lately, but that's not without precedent. Fucking Jim Carrey did the same thing. He didn't say anything about Flat Earth, but Jim Carrey had a little bit of a spiral, and for a pretty similar reason. A lot of personal shit going on, kind of unraveling and stuff like that. So I'm not going to give him as much shit.
Yeah, I think there might be some mental health issues there.
Yeah, if you're suffering from something like that, of course you're going to be susceptible to all kinds of weird shit. So Kanye West, I'm not going to shit on, but from what I've heard, he hasn't necessarily said that he doesn't believe it. Yeah. So another one is Shaquille O'Neal. This one actually is not true, Christopher, you motherfucker.
Really?
Yeah, he made a post about it, and it was actually a joke.
Ah.
And yeah, so he went out of his way to make a joke. Everyone shit on him. Even one of our not mentors, but one of our favorite other podcasters, Dan Cummins, actually said the same thing. Because he was shitting on Shaquille O'Neal for a second, and then they referenced it later in one of his updates that wasn't true.
Oh, well, yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, that just about does it for today's Tipplers Take Two.
And cut.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.
Flat Earth, Hollow Earth, Donut Earth? Hell, for all we know, maybe the Earth really is a hollow donut that is also flat, being held up by giant cosmic turtles. Is it likely? Definitely not. Should you believe all this nonsense? Absolutely not. The one lesson we can take from flat Earth theory and hollow Earth theory is to always question things. Question what you don't understand so that way you do understand it. But don't take it so far that you make your fantasies part of your reality. With that said, it's time for us to wrap up today's episode. Thank you all for joining us. Please remember to subscribe or follow us so that way you can catch new episodes as they come out. We do put out a new episode every 2 weeks, so every other Monday. So please look out for that.
If you enjoy the show and want to help us further, you can always visit our merch store and pick up some apparel there at represent.com/store/Tipplers 2 Cents. If you are interested in contacting us for any reason, feel free to email us directly at tipplers2centspodcast@gmail.com or message us on Facebook Messenger. By the way, with the Represent shirts, there is still the Save Our Children shirt available. Every time that shirt is purchased, the proceeds go directly to the Child Rescue Coalition.
And thank you all, and we will catch you next time on the edge of the earth, staring into the abyss at the great world tortoise. Or perhaps inside the hollow earth as we mingle with our superhuman neighbors. Or maybe we'll just catch you next time on Tipplers 2 Cents, where we will be talking about Cthulhu, H.P. Lovecraft, and other eldritch gods. Man, I cannot wait for that one.
Oh, me neither, man.
Have a good day, everybody, and so long, turtles all the way down.
Remember to drink responsibly and think responsibly. Bye.